And who has the authority to say which is which? Spend any time with the renowned enemy of religion, Sam Harris, and central, seemingly settled questions of philosophy and faith suddenly turn into hot-button topics. It is part of Harris's best-selling appeal, or his lack thereof, depending on whom you ask, that he sparks debate wherever he goes, even among people who agree with him. Here's Dan Harris with the Nightline interview.
Yeah, sure.
We're heading out to a speaking engagement with Sam Harris.
Do you have a sense of how you're going to be received in it?
People get quite heated.
The writer and scientist who's become famous, or some might say infamous, for his ferocious attacks on religion.
So you don't think I'm only picking on Islam? We consider the Catholic Church.
Attacks he first started launching in his best-selling book, The End of Faith.
The problem I want to talk about tonight is the problem of belief.
And in a series of incendiary public pronouncements,
We're building a civilization of ignorance.
which have fueled angry debates on YouTube.
I know I'm going to offend some people in this room.
All of this has earned Harris a reputation that has made it necessary for him to travel with security guards and live with his family in an undisclosed location. But here's the twist. It's not just the faithful who are furious with Sam Harris these days. It is also his fellow atheists.
I just want to say that I'm very disappointed by your speech. And
I imagine you're in good company.
It all started at an atheist convention a few years ago, where Harris argued that atheists should no longer call themselves atheists.
We're consenting to be thought of as a cranky subculture that meets in hotel ballrooms.
He also made an even more surprising argument that although much of what religion preaches is obviously, to him, nonsensical, it is possible for people to have real and positive spiritual experiences.
If we, by definition, ignore them because of their entanglement with religion, we appear less wise than even our craziest religious opponents.
Would you say that you've had spiritual experiences?
Sure. I just don't think that the word spiritual needn't mean this kind of overreach into cosmic significance or certainty about what happens after death. But it can mean truly rare and extraordinary experience.
Harris, it turns out, spent much of his 20s studying meditation. After 9/11, he felt compelled to start writing books that railed against religion, but to this day, he continues his own spiritual practice.
It actually, to my mind, gives me a better reason to attack religion, because I know that the religious belief, the dogmatism, the faith, is unnecessary. I know you don't need faith. You don't need to pretend to know things you don't know in order to investigate spiritual experience or to have spiritual experience.
Now, Harris is out with a new book called The Moral Landscape that is once again angering his fellow atheists, as Jon Stewart noted pointedly on The Daily Show.
Get off your ass, scientists. Would that be a working title, perhaps?
In this, messed up by turning responsibility for the debate over morality to religious people.
Science has basically divorced itself from the most important questions in human life. Questions like how to raise children, what constitutes a good life, the most important questions.
As we drive to his first speaking engagement on his book tour, Harris is keenly aware that for weeks, scientists have been tearing his book apart on the internet.
When an evangelical writes me, with lots of capital letters saying, "You don't understand, the cave was empty on the third day," I don't have to burn a lot of fuel wondering whether or not I haven't read the Bible closely enough. But when a well-known philosopher writes me and says, "Listen, you're completely wrong and here's why," yeah, I have to, it merits a little more attention.
As people line up for the speech, we note a hint of skepticism.
What do you think of the idea that science can be the basis for our morality?
I don't know. It's a good topic. I'm not sure that science determines that.
Welcome. Thank you all for coming.
Harris launches into his speech.
Questions of right and wrong and good and evil must fall squarely in the context of a growing scientific understanding of the human mind.
And then issues a challenge.
If there's anyone in this room who thinks I've just blown it, please say something.
But in the end, the reception is polite, even admiring.
What do you think of his ability/desire to just anger everybody equally?
Well, I think it speaks to his intellectual honesty. It would be very easy for Sam to just frankly, pander to atheists and sell more books that way.
Oh, nice to meet you.
As for Harris, he seems a little disappointed.
Do you, on some level, take any pleasure in, riling people?
I like arguments. I mean, I like a good exchange.
You have to check your contrarian impulses and your rhetorical gifts when you're arguing with your wife or your mom.
They're less concerned by the logic of my argument. I mean, they can sort of trump it with, stop badgering me.
Harris's next book seems specifically designed to frustrate both sides in the religious debate. In it, he plans to lay out a new sort of spirituality, one devoid of God. For Nightline, this is Dan Harris, no relation to Sam, by the way, in New York.
And for much more on this rich topic, you can visit the Nightline page at abcnews.com. You can watch full Nightline debates on atheism featuring Sam Harris, Deepak Chopra, and Kirk Cameron, if you are so inclined. And up next,